we get the recording started. There we go. Okay, so this evening we are going to give a wee overview of many of the development activities that we've been working on through the very much extended closed season that we've just come out of, and really show how we want to work with the members and the clubs to really grow the sport as we move through this really important season where we are coming out of COVID and we have the joy of the Olympics and the Paralympics in the new year. Through lockdown, we have continued to work away throughout, and many of you may not have had the opportunity to engage with us. And I was really delighted when I saw the list of names of people and clubs and rinks that have joined up tonight to hear about this. And there's many new names and new clubs where we've not previously engaged as a development team. So if you're one of those people, and this is your first time really hearing from the staff at Scottish Curling, thank you very much for coming along, and we hope you do get a lot out of tonight. First of all, I'm going to introduce the team that we have. There's been a little bit of change over the last few years. So first of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm Maggie Wilson. I'm the head of development. I took on this post in June of this year after previously having been a development manager for just over a year. I'm a curler myself. I started curling at the age of 10, inspired by the 2002 Olympics. No need to do the maths on my age there, please. Through my school, and got the bug. I'm not from a curling family, and have gone on to enjoy the sport for many years at many different levels, and I now curl in Edinburgh for Curry and Balerno Curling Club. Next up we have Sophie Jackson, a well-kent curler herself, a former Scottish champion and World Junior silver medalist. She leads up our academy programme, looking after the younger members of the pathway who were still in the Scottish curling pathway, so around from mid-teens up to early 20s, those young people making their first step on the elite pathway. And Sophie's had great success over the last few days. One of the academy teams, Team Bryce, has been out in Latvia this weekend where they won the Latvia International Challenger. So lots of great younger teams coming through under the watchful eye of Sophie. Next we have Rachel Ireland, who's just started as our competitions manager. So Rachel's on the call this evening, so I'll just pass over to Rachel to introduce herself.
Hello, nice to meet you all. Some of you may have kind of seen me around if you have been to any of the Asham Junior Slams, but I'm hoping to kind of pop in and out of a lot of the kind of competitions through this year, since my primary role is obviously the organisation of those. I'm myself a curler, so started when I was about 11, so it definitely helps within the role to develop that kind of understanding of what's required in the competitions. Obviously, if there's any questions about them, feel free to give me a call or an email at any point, but hopefully I'll get kind of up to kind of scratch with everything fairly soon, and have all the kind of competitions running quite smoothly over the season.
Thanks, Rachel. And then we move on to our development managers. So in Central Scotland, we have Katrina Morton, who joined us in August. Katrina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Katrina. I have managed to meet a few of you over the last couple of weeks and months, but lots of you are still new faces. So yeah, as Maggie says, I joined the team in August. I'm not a curler, I'm not coming from a curling background. However, I have worked in sports development since leaving university, and I have a background in that area. And I cover the kind of all the curling activity from Borders Ice Rink in the kind of southeast up to Stirling and across to Waterfront and everything in between. So looking forward to coming out and meeting all of you in due course.
Thanks, Katrina. And then over to the southwest, where our development manager, Scott Andrews, needs no introduction, but I'll let him give himself a wee introduction.
That wasn't me. Thanks, Maggie. Yep, Scott Andrews here. I'm the development manager for the southwest. Previously development officer at Ayr Ice Rink, curler in the past, and now enjoying giving back to the sport and developing and introducing new people to the wonderful game of curling. So I've managed to get out to most of the ice rinks so far. So if I've not seen you at those, I apologise, but hopefully see you soon in the coming weeks and months.
Thank you, Scott. And then looking after our workforce, all different strands of that, is Fiona Harfield. Fiona, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Maggie. Hello to everybody. I just repeat what Maggie says. It's so great to see so many different faces, and hopefully I can encourage some of you to volunteer at certain aspects of curling. I, like Katrina, I'm not a curler. My background is hockey, but I've been in sports development for over 14 years, and I've coached for over 20 blah, blah, blah years. I also tutor as well, so I'm fairly familiar with the coaching pathway. So the workforce development management, that is looking after volunteers, our officials, which are our timers and umpires, and also I look after the role of the tutor and the coaches. So quite a big workforce, but I absolutely love it. And I hope that by the end of tonight, I've maybe got a few more of you on board in various roles.
Thank you very much, Fiona. So that is the development team. We also have a vacancy right now in North and East Scotland that we are working hard to fill. So we will get more information out to the relevant ice rinks on how we're going to be covering that one in the weeks ahead. So watch this space. So the development team, we're responsible for all aspects of the Scottish Curling strategic plan relating to development, coaching, performance and competitions. But really when we look at this season, we have a really vast strategic and operational plan, but it's actually good to simplify that right down to the 3 key priorities for us this year, which I think are the priorities for us as an organisation and for all of our clubs and our members. And they are to encourage existing curlers to return to curling. So that has been the first phase of our plan this year, getting all you guys safely back onto the ice. And for many, there was a bit of apprehension, but we hope that what we're hearing from the ice rinks has been a really positive experience, and people that have come, dipped their toe, tested the waters, they've been reassured and they've been able to come back happily to the sport. 2, one of the most important things every year, but never more so than this year, is attracting new people to try the sport. How do we get new people to think, I want to give that a go? And number 3, once we get those people to try the sport, how do we retain them? How do we get them from going from that one-time experience when they walk through the doors of the ice rink to come in there every week, to being part of that community and really becoming a curler as opposed to just trying it? So hopefully this evening, as we go through the various points of the presentation, you'll see the ways in which we're trying to do this, and hopefully see ways in which your club and you as a member can get involved in that, and we can all work together to achieve these 3 main aims. So the season so far, I can't believe we're nearly at the end of October, and I can't believe what we've done so far and how much fun we've had. So it's all started way back in August when we had our first event on the ice, and that's down the bottom here, which was our junior on ice days. Unfortunately, our residential junior camp had been cancelled for the 2nd year, and a lot of us as members of staff have gone to the junior camp in our youth, and we know how important it is for young curlers to make friends and gain confidence in the sport. So that's why we were delighted when Scott Andrews was able to arrange some on-ice days. These were non-residential days for junior curlers to attend, with days in Stirling and Dumfries. Some attended one, some attended both. And the young curlers were able to get a variety of different coaches and different activities. Here they are learning sweeping from Gina and David Aitken. And we got great feedback, and it really helped the junior clubs bounce back. And some of the young curlers that came along to those days were encouraged from that day to enter some of our under 14s events, which is great for us to see. Then we had our adult camp, which is up here. So that was at Northwest Castle in Stranraer. Fantastic hospitality, and a great weekend was had by all. I was lucky enough to be down there for the weekend and had a great time. It was fantastic to meet the adult campers. It was a variety of abilities, from people who were fairly new to the sport to some improvers who played for a long time and just wanted the opportunity to get better. So again, similar to the junior camp, there was a variety of different coaches, different activities, and it was also a very social weekend and everyone had a great time. We've also had a few revamped initiatives. So trycurling.com up the top here and the Gateway Club. We've done a lot of work on those through the closed season and we'll be covering that later on in the presentation. We've also had a couple of new initiatives. This Girl Can Curl, which was an initiative set up to encourage young women to continue to play curling to whatever level they desired. This was funded by the Anne Malcolm Legacy. We're really grateful to them through the Scottish Curling Trust for helping allow this event to go on. It was held in Dumfries this weekend, and Hannah Miley, Olympic and Commonwealth swimmer, spoke to our young athletes about the motivation, resilience and hard work required to be successful in anything you choose to do, including sport, but also at that pivotal time in a young woman's life where they're looking towards a career and their studies. I thoroughly enjoyed the presentation, and you can still watch it on our Facebook page. It was streamed live if you want to go in and learn something from Hannah Miley and her journey, which is a very interesting journey. So we're looking to do more of these events. It's a very important area, as we do see a lot of female curlers drop off as they move through their teens and into their early 20s, and that's something we want to stop, to continue women playing the sport right up through the ages. We also had our first event in partnership with Parasport, which on Friday we had a try para curling day at Curl Edinburgh, where we had a mixture of disabilities come along to try the sport, and from that we've had a lot of people really interested in coming back and joining. So that was a perfect initiative for us, and well done to Katrina, who arranged that event. And as she said, she's not from a curling background, but I've seen pictures. She was on the ice, she was helping out, she's becoming a curler quite quickly. And then some other parts here, we'll see down the bottom right, we've refreshed some of our images, some new faces you'll start seeing across some of our marketing material. And up here on the left, it never stops. This picture was taken just today. So this is Ewan and Kat from the Ewan and Kat at Breakfast show on the radio. And we'll come on to a little later about what we were doing today and an exciting initiative for the sport. So I'm going to move on to talk about National Curling Day. National Curling Day is a really exciting initiative, and I'm going to discuss both what we're doing as Scottish Curling and what ice rinks and clubs and members can all do to help out with National Curling Day. So National Curling Day is on the 15th of November 2021. So that is 1511. And can I hear anyone in the virtual audience telling me why it's 1511? I'll tell you. It is 1511 is the first year that there's a record of curling being played in Scotland, and it is in fact the year that's inscribed on the oldest curling stone. So it's not just picked from thin air. It's a very important date, and we thought it translated nice into a nice time of year to celebrate the sport of curling. So what is National Curling Day? Primarily, it's an awareness raising event. It's not like in the past we've done Curl Fest and events that are really mass participation and aimed at getting maximum people through the ice rink doors on that one day. National Curling Day is about raising awareness of the sport to make people aware, make them inspired, and make them want to try curling at a time that suits them in the days and the weeks after National Curling Day. And who's involved? Everyone. I think National Curling Day is something that will work best if at all levels of the sport we can all get involved, from the wider national campaigns that we are running at Scottish Curling, right down to you as members, what you can do. So hopefully I'll take you through some of the things that you can do here. So first of all, what are we doing at Scottish Curling? So we are running a nationwide radio campaign on the Greatest Hits Network, and that was launched this morning. Some of you were listening to the right stations, you may have heard our radio advert and some reads by the presenters. The stations to listen to are Clyde 2, Forth 2, Tay 2, North Sound 2, Moray Firth Radio 2, West Sounds and Radio Borders. And I will give you a sneak peek of the Radio Clyde advert if my technology works. Someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
What sport is fun,
sociable,
friendly,
and described as chess on ice?
Curling.
If you're looking for a fun way to meet new friends and stay active this winter, visit trycurling.com to find your local ice rink.
Perfect for players aged 8 to 80 and beyond.
Slide on over to Clyde2.com to win signed merchandise and a lesson with an Olympic curler.
There we go. So that went live this morning. I heard it myself, coming out my radio, trycurling.com. So we're really hoping that campaign will start to reach a whole new audience that we've never reached before. And it's the most investment we've ever put in a campaign like this. And we think it's needed. The sport, we are losing numbers, and we appreciate that is not a good place to be. So we're really taking the time and the money to invest in getting new people back in our sport this year. The other element of this is on-air reads from the presenters. So I'm going to play you one that was put out today on Radio Borders. But after today, the main stations will have these two characters over here, Ewan and Kat, who were on the ice today with Jennifer Dodds. They've been along and tried curling, so they will be able to share some of their experiences on the on-air reads. But I'll play you this one from today, just so you get the idea of the sort of way that will come across on the radio.
Good morning, it is Monday 9:21 just now. Here is something, right? Have you ever thought about giving curling a try? I have. I think it looks amazing. It looks really good fun. Now, we've teamed up with trycurling.com to tell you all about curling and how you can get involved. So if you're looking for a fun way to maybe meet new friends, stay active this winter, then try curling. Do you know what's the perfect time as well to take it up? Because if you get right into it from the 20th of November, so what's that, 3-4 weeks away, the European Championships are on for curling. So, I mean, it's the perfect time, isn't it? It's fun, sociable, friendly, and it's like chess, but on ice. It is though, isn't it? It's perfect for players aged 8 to 80 and beyond. It doesn't matter what age you are, and you can try it out for yourself at the Border Ice Rink in Kelso. We're quite lucky to have Border Ice Rink in Kelso. It's only down the road from here. If you head to radioborders.com, you can also enter to win signed merchandise and a lesson with an Olympic curler. Amazing. This is all thanks to trycurling.com. Go check that out. So go to radioborders.com for that. Right, coming up in the next 10 minutes, David Guetta. Got some Hosier as well. Take Me to Church Place in 10.
So I'm really sorry we don't actually have David Guetta in the next 10 minutes. That's not announcing a special guest for the webinar, no. But that was from the radio this morning. So 3 times a week across the stations we'll be getting a read like that, and 9 times a day across those stations, Monday to Sunday, we'll be getting the 30-second advert. So really hoping that we start to see the traction from that picking up on the Try Curling website on the run up to National Curling Day. So we're operating this in the 3 weeks prior to National Curling Day and the 1 week after. Other things we're doing for National Curling Day. In the week prior to National Curling Day, we're going to do an article a day. Now, these are going to be stories about real curlers and not based on elite curlers. So this will be most likely someone from your ice rink will have been contacted by Scottish Curling to tell their story of why they curl. And we've got some really great people have come forward and are going to be sharing their stories. So we'll share that on our channels. We invite you to share them if you're on social media. And also we'll be passing that on to local newspapers with the hope that some local news outlets will pick up these stories and they will share them as well on their channels. We'll be running a Why I Curl campaign. So we'll be producing a video where we're recording various curlers telling us why they curl. So if you see a member of Scottish Curling staff in your ice rink and you want to tell us why you curl, please just grab us and we will film you and we'll get you in that video. And if you miss out, if you don't come across one of us on the day, you can share your own story on your social media and tag us and we'll share that story. We want to get as much content from our members and have everyone tell their own story, because everyone's got their own interesting story, and I personally love to hear how people got into the sport. And our social media campaign, we're going to be promoting trycurling.com in a different way from we have before, and where we use targeted advertising to hit our target market and people that live in areas where there's ice rinks, to try and maximise that benefit and get as many people through the doors as possible. Moving on to what can your club or ice rink do? So if you are in a committee of a curling club, you could consider for National Curling Day and the days, weekend and week surrounding it, holding a club event. So that could be something like having a special bonds deal to celebrate it, having a special try curling session, or even just inviting your club members to bring a friend. All these different ways just to celebrate a little bit, something slightly different to engage a different audience, all helps to spread the word of curling to more people and get more people interested in trying the sport. Local press coverage is also going to be key to the success of National Curling Day, where we're contacting the nationwide media outlets, which can sometimes be quite challenging to fit in with their news agenda. Sometimes these local stories coming from local people are much more engaging and more likely to be picked up. You can invite local celebrities to try curling, try your local radio stations, where we've tried the greatest hits network of the 2 stations. Maybe you could try your Clyde one, your North Sound one, and get those presenters on the ice. We have a fantastic story here. You'll see our presenters from West FM. They were contacted by Ayr Ice Rink. They went along, they tried curling, had a fantastic time, and for no cost to the ice rink, they shared it all across their social media, and for a few days last week were telling the audience how much they enjoyed trying curling. So that sort of money can't buy advertising, where you just show someone how fantastic curling is and they will tell everyone. So have a think in your local area. What are those local stations, local papers, local celebrities with a social media following that you can call upon to help promote the sport? And telling your local curler story. If you have a local curler and we're not telling their story that week, you can tell it. You can go to your local paper, who are the unsung heroes of your curling community. Who is it that's always putting in the extra hours to get the school kids on the ice? These people, if you want to celebrate local curlers, find ways to share their stories. And then local community events. Village Hall Try Curling. I know a lot of our clubs maybe come from a rural area and travel to an ice rink, and you might not be able to get your local community to fully travel to the ice rink for that first taste, but we can, if you speak to your development manager, we can discuss getting floor curling kits to you to run a community event. Is there a local fete or flower show or something that you could have a stand at for curling? Things like that. In your local community, your club should represent themselves like any other club would, and see if you can get people to then come along to the ice rink after that initial contact, maybe in the village hall. And then what can you do as a member? Talking a lot there about things that you can do with your club and your development group and your ice rink. But you personally, everyone can do some of the things on this list. Share everything. Why do you curl? You can tell your own story on your social media on National Curling Day. We'll try and ask people to tag other people, to encourage people to share, but start that conversation and then invite your club members to say why they curl. And then your non-curling friends will then get to understand why you curl. We've put out you should have received an email about National Curling Day, and in there's some banners and profile pictures that you can use on your social media just to spread awareness of National Curling Day. And local community Facebook groups, do you know, the ones that are usually about the bins not being collected and all that good stuff. Maybe you could put a bit of spark in there, drop a message in there saying, has anyone thought about trying curling? Why don't you come along to our local club, or visit trycurling.com? Things like that, where the marketing from us, it doesn't engage as much as someone going on and saying, I love this sport and I think you should come along and join our club. And that gets more people might be willing to give it a bash if you tell them how great you find it. And if you're not on social media, tell your friends. Why don't you organise a try curling session for your friends? If you're in another sports club, perhaps you're in the local badminton club, Maybe you could have a social night and you all come along and try curling. And yes, not everyone that tries is going to stay, but you might get one or two that do and want to join your club. Or your works night out. Do you know, a lot of us are working from home just now, so maybe you should suggest to your boss that it's time to get the team back together, and we could maybe have a team building event down the local curling rink. I think that's hopefully your boss might even pay for it. So so hopefully there's a few things like that you can do round about National Curling Day to help engage other people in your community to start curling. So once people do start curling and they come through Try Curling or corporate curling or works nights out, where can they go? So Katrina's going to cover in a wee moment about the Try Curling website, but I'll just talk about the Gateway Club before I finish. So the Gateway Club is formerly known as the Virtual Club. So the Member Development Committee last year did quite a lot of work on what that offering would be and really that name. And unfortunately, with the year and a half that we have had, virtual perhaps has a slightly different meaning from what it did once have. So we have decided to move away from that name, and the programme itself is going to be known as the Gateway Club, although some local clubs have opted to remain known as the Virtual Club, which is completely fine. So if you are in a club and you are wanting to get more members into your club and your ice rink has a Gateway Club, they're a great place to look. So I would encourage everyone, get to know your Gateway Club, that I have called Virtual Club on this slide because I have, because I've not got used to the new name yet. Oh dear. Get to know your Gateway Club, get to know who organises it, and try and find out ways that you can work with them. And create a pathway. For all the clubs in your ice rink, if there's one Gateway Club, there's going to be all these members coming out wanting somewhere to go. What can your club offer them? Why is your club the right place for them to go? Find ways to introduce players to your club and let them test out a few clubs. What suits them? What do they want? What days of the week can they curl on? And ways to do that would be things like your opening bond spiel when you invite new people. Why don't you send out an invite to the Gateway Club and get all those new members? Invite them to join your subs list. Invite them to start just trickling in to try in a different club. And one of the key bits of feedback we get from the Gateway Club is the Gateway Club is all people that have just started curling and they try lots of different things and they get some coaching. And when they move into the traditional clubs, sometimes they get stuck at lead. We've all seen it happen. What do the Gateway Club members want? Is there a way your club can be more accommodating? I know the club I used to be a member of in Aberdeen, we had a league where we all swapped positions every 2 ends. And it meant that you got a chance to skip, but if it wasn't going great, you can move on after 2 ends, so there was no disaster. So Scott is going to cover some of the ways that you can vary your club sessions, and when you're hearing that, think about how, if you have a new member from the Gateway Club, how this might encourage them to stay with your club rather than move on to another. And also, when you're listening to Fiona, consider ways in which, if you volunteer your time with representatives of your club, attending as helpers or coaches for the Gateway Club, how you can help build those relationships and help support new people coming into the sport, but equally give them a friendly face in your club for when they move out of the Gateway Club and progress into the big bad world of curling. And if your ice rink doesn't have a Gateway Club and it's something your club or a group of curlers would be interested in supporting, please contact us at Scottish Curling and we can help you take the steps to start that club. It's one of the best ways to retain people after they come through Try Curling. So on that note, I will stop speaking and I will pass over to Katrina, who's going to talk to you about trycurling.com and the upgrades we've made to that site.
Thank you, Maggie. Yvonne, I've seen your comment in the chat and I will answer that during this chance to talk about trycurling.com. So yeah, as Maggie's alluded to, we have had a huge refresh of the Try Curling website. This has probably been one of my main projects in starting in August, is to look after that. So in summary, the new website has now launched with a booking system, and there are 3 levels of booking available. And those are inquiry only, if I can say the words, which allows members of the public to inquire with each of the ice rinks and just register and say, I'm interested, keep me up to date with what's happening within your rink. For sessions, if the ice rink has uploaded sessions to the website, members of the public can book directly into the sessions. And similarly, if the ice rink has chosen to, members of the public can book and pay. So if there's a cost associated, and that is something that they have got set up in terms of online payment, etc., then members of the public can book and pay, and they're going to then get automatic emails with confirmation, when to come along, what's involved in the session, etc., making it really, really user-friendly for all involved. Members of the public are quite easily see the sessions that are available, book into what they want, and then the ice rink are given, here's your list of people that are coming along next week for X session. And yeah, so that has taken some time to get right. We have gone back and forward a little bit with our web developers, but we are now confident that this is a really good functioning system, and ice rinks are now in the process of making sure that they've got everything up to date. So in terms of some of the just kind of additional updates, each of the sessions have a maximum participant number now. So as people book in, that number will count down, and people, once it's full, then no one else will be able to book in. So it is a full-fledging booking system. All the rinks also have a general inquiry section. So previously the rinks were listed, but there was no way to directly contact them straight from the website. Now everybody can send them a message with what their inquiry is regarding. So that's really user-friendly. The club and rink searches have been refined. So for instance, the club search is now linked directly to our database. So all of the information is accurate and up to date. That was basically creating double the work for everybody to have to update everything twice. Now it's all in the same system. And the rink searches have been reformed in that the map has been updated. So when you input a location, the map function is very, very user-friendly, as to be able to click onto the nearest rink and see their information. Additionally, as Maggie said earlier, we have had quite a lot of photography opportunities and things. So we're in the process of uploading all of the new photography and images. So you'll see that there's some different faces, there's some different shots that are being uploaded now. And also the new safety video, which was filmed earlier this season. We are hoping that that's potentially going to be ready this week and will be uploaded to the website as well, which will give potential members of the public an insight into exactly what to expect from their session, and specifically to cover the safety aspects. So, you know, how to get on the ice, how to behave on the ice, all these things that they need to do before they get actually onto the ice and doing the session. They can now see that before they even book on, or before coming along to their session. In regards to your question, Yvonne, as to why Inverness is not appearing when you type in Aviemore, there are two different search functions on the website. So when you go onto trycurling.com, the search function on the very front page is find a try curling session. And you are invited to input a location. So when you pop in a location, it will then bring up the sessions within the area that you've requested. So for example, if you were to put in Stirling, set the distance as 100 miles, it will bring up the sessions that are registered on the account, on the website, within 100 miles. However, if, for instance, Stirling don't have any sessions listed, Stirling won't appear because they don't have sessions, and it's a search for sessions. In that case, we have a message that says, if you're thinking you're missing, if you're thinking, I live in Stirling and I know there's an ice rink, why is Stirling not coming up? You can then go to find a rink, and you can then find Stirling from there and send them an inquiry. I'm keen to come along. What time's your sessions? What's the story? So we are really, really pushing for ice rinks to get their sessions up onto the website, because if they don't have sessions under their name, they won't appear in that initial search. And that's what the website is about. It's about finding sessions rather than finding ice rinks. So obviously the function to find ice rinks is the BR, but it's a secondary step. So that's why, Yvonne, when you've put in Aviemore, Inverness don't have any sessions up at the moment. So that's why Inverness doesn't appear, and you're being directed to Forfar, because Forfar do have sessions up. So that's kind of the way that we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people, so that they know, oh, there's a session next Tuesday, it's down the road from me, easy, rather than going, oh, well, there's this rink and this rink and this rink, and then finding the sessions after that. So it's about booking into the sessions. So yeah, I encourage you all to go and have a look at the Try Curling website. The brand new logo is also there for you to see. We've tidied it up a little bit and just made it a wee bit bolder and brighter. And yeah, there's still a few things that we're ticking over, and it will be an ongoing project to make sure it's as user friendly as possible. Another question about emails. So the Rinks choose where the emails go. So yeah, the question is, where do the email go to? So when a member of the public signs up to a session, they will get a confirmation email that they have signed up to a session. So they get an acknowledgement, and also whoever we have got listed as a contact for the Rink, they will get a confirmation email as well. So I have had an email today from somebody from one of the Rinks, one of the staff members, saying, I don't think we've got the right thing set up here, because I think the emails are going to the wrong person. And that's just, we need to change that at the back end. So we need to just, if there is a changeover in staff or anything like that, we just need to make sure we're on top of that to make sure people are getting the right emails. Yes, Bill, I was informed. So, oh, the emails are coming in. The messages are coming in. Yes, Bill, you did send me a list of sessions. I was aware of that today as to that they're not there. I think I know what the problem is, and I will fix it by end of play tomorrow. I think it's just because of the new upgrade in the system. So Bill, I'm on top of that one. Lillian, I just click for England and Wales, even if I put in my postcode in. I just get click for. Oh. Okay, I'm not quite sure, Lillian, as to what's going on there.
Hello. If I go on to Try Curling, I put it on Facebook, and I put it, when I try clicking on it, it just comes up with England or Wales. And if I put my postcode in the space where you can put your postcode in, it says it's no use. It doesn't come up with anything. What have I done wrong?
I'm not quite sure about that one.
I think, Lillian, maybe I can catch up with you afterwards, because that's not an issue that any of us are having with our postcodes.
Okay.
And I don't want you to share your postcode with the group, but maybe I can have a call with you, because there might be a few little bugs on the site still, so we can work out what's going on there.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So Sandra, in regards to the council run facilities, some of them are, so for instance, oh, now you're testing my which rink does which out of the 20 odd. Some of them are not using the book and pay system because they have their own book and pay system, because they are a council facility or a leisure trust or whatever they are. So they are just using inquiry only. So and even an example of that is Edinburgh. They're not council and they're not trust, but they do have their own book and pay system on their own website. So on trycurling.com, they are only using inquiry at the moment, so that people can inquire into a session. So in that, and I believe that's still in terms of the email addresses, they still have whatever email address they want on that. So whatever they fancy, then we pop that in, and that's who gets in the emails.
Sorry, Katrina,
yes,
to come back on that, it's all very well when you've got paid staff, but if we're all volunteers, then you're relying on a volunteer checking this regularly. that's part of the reason why we haven't put the Try Curling up in Murray. It's because of the payment system and where the emails go to that's difficult. Because we're a council, well, it's not council run, it's arm's length council, but that just makes it more difficult.
So, Sandra, you don't need to, payment doesn't need to be taken through the website. So even if you run your sessions at a cost, you don't need to use that function. That's only for those who would like to do that. And whoever is in charge of organising your Try Curling sessions is whoever can receive the emails. I appreciate that every situation is different as to who is in charge of that, whether it is a volunteer or whether it is a member of staff. But we do have volunteers who are receiving the emails, so that it's taking that first step out for you, rather than receiving an email going, "I quite fancy trying curling. What's involved? What's this?" And lots of people asking lots of questions. All the initial information is on the website. Members of the public can email and say, "Yep, I sign up." And that volunteer has only got to then go, "Fabulous, I've got a few people signed up to the session this week." But I appreciate that every ice rink is very different. So what we can do is, if you would like to, we can have a bit of a chat offline about just how we make that work for you guys, and if there is a way that we can make it fit. Hopefully that is a potential option for you there.
Okay.
Cool. Yvonne, Yvonne, you found the slight weakness in the website. Yes, it says Forfar is 50 miles, and I curled there today. It's 100 miles. So the website currently tells you how far an ice rink is via how the crow flies. That is something that is on our to-do list to resolve down the line, because it isn't quite accurate. And we're aware of that, and actually it came to light for those who are maybe got the geography knowledge. I live in North Berwick, which is kind of out in the corner of South East Scotland, and my nearest ice rink is Fife. It's 18 miles from me, apparently. It is absolutely not 18 miles a journey, if I had a helicopter perhaps, but that's not the case. So that is something that we do need to tidy up. We're just it has advanced from where it was when we did the refresh. That system has been tidied up, so it's not quite so clunky in terms of its directions. But that is one more step that we have to take, is to resolve that, which is a larger piece of work, which wasn't going to be done in time for this radio campaign, and we wanted it to be in a usable state. So that'll be why you're getting slightly confusing distances.
Katrina.
Yes, Bill.
Get a boat from North Berwick, it's only 18 miles.
I mean, I could probably get the boat. That is true, Bill. But I don't know how time efficient that would be. But you know, it's always an option. Maybe only in the summer months, though. Okay. Dottie's having the same problem as Lillian. Okay. Right. So there is maybe an issue with some of the postcodes. So yeah, we will have a look at that. We've got our website developers on hand at all times. So if there is a bit of a bug in the system, as they say, they'll be able to figure these things out a lot quicker than we will. But I think I've covered.
Excuse me, Katrina.
Yes, Tom.
Hi. Would it not be easy to have a graphic of Scotland showing the locations of the rinks?
Yes, we do have that. We do have that. It does. So a map does appear, and it does say, here's Fife and here's Murrayfield, but it still tells me that Fife is closer than Murrayfield to myself. So we're relying a little bit on people's common sense, unfortunately, to realise that there's maybe not quite as conveniently located as Murrayfield is for me. But yeah, it's one we're on. It's on the list. It's on the list to get sorted. Yeah, sorry, the peak in Stirling doesn't come up because they don't have sessions listed as yet. Yes, so it's listed as a rink, it's not listed as sessions because they haven't got sessions uploaded. And I know the reason for that is because we are struggling to get Hammy, who's a development officer there, signed in, potentially because he's out of the country at the moment. So we're having some, I think his email account is getting blocked because it thinks it's spam. So an additional factor to play with there, but the peak is there as a rink. It's just not there at the moment because Hammy hasn't got the sessions uploaded just as yet. Okay, I'll take a deep breath.
Katrina?
Gordon.
Hi, I think John Brown has given the answer there. I've just gone online and it's find a try curling session and it says click for England and Wales. But that's just information. If you put in your postcode and the distance and you click go, it's brought up for me Greenacres and Hamilton. So I think it's people are perhaps getting confused by clicking above that. You've got to go down to the go button.
Okay, no, that's good to hear. That's good to hear it's working for you, Gordon. We will just take a look at it just to make sure that there isn't any bugs. These things can crop in. Don't know where these little insects come from, but they crop into the system and we don't want any issues. Oh, still some comments. Liz, yes, if sessions are full, they will show, but they'll come up as full, so they won't disappear. They will say no spaces available, and the button instead will change from book to inquire. So they can still inquire about the session, and perhaps if the rink wants to operate any sort of waiting list function or anything like that, that can be done.
I think that's great because much like seeing somebody walk down the street with an ice cream, there's nothing quite like knowing that it's sold out to make you want it more, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly that. Oh yes, Maggie's already answered it. Sorry, Maggie, I'm just getting there. Yeah, okay, I've reached the bottom of the comments. Okay. Okay, well, if there are other questions about trycurling.com, feel free to, we can have a wee summary at the end, or email me or give me a ring or anything. But I'm watching the time. We'll move on for just now so that we don't waste the rest of my team's time. Excellent. Okay, so the next one is also me. And this is around obviously the upcoming Olympic and Paralympic Games. We are having a bit of a celebration event, given that next February is the 20-year mark of Rona's team winning gold in Salt Lake. So we are running a wee bit of a competition / celebration kind of event to get everybody involved. And that is an invite to our junior clubs and our junior teams to film a recreation of the Stone of Destiny. So there's various things going to happening around this 20-year mark. I know that Rona and the rest of the team are doing some media and things that we've been kind of supporting and getting involved with. But on the back of National Curling Day, we're going to be challenging the junior clubs to get involved in this project. So that's a really, really exciting thing for them to, for some of them, perhaps we're not born at that point. Well, for most juniors, probably not. And just to kind of learn a little bit about what happened 20 years ago. And even me as a non-curler 20 years ago, I remember it. So it's just something that we need to mark this moment in history. And that will be a project that's coming out very, very soon. And hopefully we get some good buy-in from the juniors. There are prizes available. There's some quite exciting stuff being mentioned at the moment. That's just what we're tying up before it launches in a couple of weeks' time on National Curling Day. So that's going to be really, really exciting. So I encourage you to encourage those around you to get involved and to be creative and really just celebrate it. Yeah. And then obviously, as well, we've got the actual Olympic and Paralympic Games. So I invite you all to just have a think about what we can do to mark that occasion. Obviously, from a Scottish curling point of view, we're going to be doing various things, various projects. We've got our kind of first phase of celebration of curling at the moment with National Curling Day and the radio campaign, but that will all kick up a year again after the new year ahead of the Games. And it's just continue to think, what can we do locally within our clubs and our rinks, with our teammates, with everybody around us to to celebrate and plan for the celebration that's going to be the Olympic and Paralympic Games. It's set to be a fantastic year, I think, for curling, for both the Scottish as well as the rest of the British athletes. So yeah, have a think about that. It's coming up, and it's coming up fast. We all probably know that. The season's going quickly already. So yeah. Hey, Laura, will there be more advertising? Oh, Maggie's been in already. Right, I'll not even acknowledge it. Maggie's quicker typing than I'm quicker talking. Yeah, so yes, there will be lots of coverage. Obviously with Try Curling and everything around the Olympics and Paralympics as well. So yeah, like I say, we'll ramp it back up again after Christmas. And again, some of the rinks and everything have already got their sessions for 2022 on trycurling.com. So we're going. It's all steam ahead.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Katrina, for that. What we're going to do now is pass over to Scott, and he's going to talk a little bit about for clubs, when you're thinking about your club sessions, what can you do to do things differently to encourage more curlers when they do come through these Try Curling sessions and they're there in the ice rink and you want to get them sticking with your club.
Thanks, Maggie. So this is probably one of the projects I've had for the majority of my time as a development manager. It's quick curling. So what we were looking to do is find a new format and create a new style of game, which was a bit shorter. And obviously last year we had it ready to go out to pilot and test, but obviously that didn't happen. We managed to get one trial with the athletes at the NCA, and then Dumfries, who were open during the summer, also trialed it for us. So we've had some feedback. I have then changed a couple of the timings and the rules, etc., behind this quick curling format. So in Dumfries we had, I think it was 4 or 5 games over a couple of weeks, and the teams consisted of juniors, club curlers, a wheelchair team, some elite athletes, and also some coaches as well. So there was a wide variety of members who took part in the trial, and it was just really good to see everyone being able to play. Obviously it is an hour long, well, 55 minutes, and the reason it's 55 minutes is so that we can fit 2 sessions within the 2-hour ice allocation slot. The timing aspect of it, the first initial idea was to have a shot clock, so each player would only have, say, like 30 seconds to play their shot. The feedback we got from the elite athletes that they struggled with that, so maybe for club curlers 30 seconds, that would maybe be too quick, and that's maybe something we might look to bring in maybe 1 or 2 years down the line once we've tried it. And because I do realise that it will change and other clubs might play it differently than others, but we took that shot clock out of the system and we've now just got a 55-minute timer. As you can see in the picture there, that was at Ayr on their opening weekend. We did 2 sessions, and I just set a timer on my phone for 55 minutes and it just counts down. Once the 55-minute timer's up, that's a game over. No more stones will be thrown. So you could be halfway through an end and that timer goes and you just stop, and whatever's scoring is the score. So it's quite exciting. You can, if you have someone watching the timer, you can kind of have that build up of, oh, you've only got 2 minutes left, and then they start rushing their shots and stuff like that. So that's really excitement there. Probably some of the key rules, I won't go through them all, but we rotate every position or every end. So it's a team of 3. So after the first end, the person that plays lead moves to second. The person that moves from second moves to skip, and then skip to lead. This is also to give people the opportunity to play skip. So Maggie mentioned it earlier that when you come out the gate or going out the gateway club into a club, most times they end up playing lead. So it just gives them that experience of skipping or playing a different position. And to make it less daunting, we've also introduced a maximum of 2 points. So even if you're sitting your 6 stones in the rings, for the first few ends, when the timer is still going, it's only 2 points. So it's not all of a sudden very daunting for a new person skipping that they're going to lose a big end, because the maximum they can lose is 2. Another one of the key rules is there's no sweeping during the opposition's shot, regardless. So if their stone passes a tee, you can't sweep it. If their stone taps yours, you can't sweep your own stone. So there's just no sweeping during your opposition stone. And then probably the biggest one will be at the end, when the timer runs out, whatever stones are in the rings will be the ones counting. So at that point, you could score 5, you could score 6. There could only be 1 stone thrown that end, and that might be the stone that counts. So it hopefully will be quite an exciting, different format. The fact that it's only an hour maybe allows people who have busy lives, who have family, who have busy jobs, or who are maybe a bit nervous going back to play for 2 hours. It gives them the opportunity to play for 1 hour. Some of the format ideas, you could just replace your triples. I know a lot of teams have triples within their schedule. You could have a one-day bonspiel, or you could have a league. So I know the 12th province in Greenacres have set up a league, and I think it's 7 games for £40, I believe, and it's, I believe, individual and team entry. So it's every Tuesday for an hour, and you kind of just know that time, and that's a great way to fill the free ice. So that keeps the ice rinks happy, and then also it kind of gives you that you know exactly when you're curling. Sorry, I'm just looking at the question there. No sweeping opposition stones. Yes, no sweeping opposition stones, or no sweeping during your opposition's turn. So yes, they can't sweep behind the tee line, but also if they were to, for example, play the tick shot on tapped your guard, you cannot sweep your guard out of play, for example. So yeah, I think hopefully a lot of clubs will take this opportunity to try this hour-long game. And as I said, I do expect it to change over the year. And hopefully if you do play, please give me feedback of if you followed the rules exactly, if you maybe changed it to suit your own needs. Some ice rinks might look to only play 4 ends. However, the feedback when we trialled it in Dumfries, most teams were getting 5, and some teams were getting halfway through their 6. So it's between 5 and 6 ends. So that if you can get into that 6th end, it would be great. But obviously, 5 ends is a good amount. So please, if you have any feedback, if you do try it, let me know, and we will look to develop it. And you never know, this might be the next Olympic discipline. That would be really cool if it could be. Yes, Bill.
We've changed the format for the beginners course this year. We now call it a novice curling course.
Yep.
We have an hour's coaching, and then have an hour's quick curling, and they're really enjoying the role plays, and they're experiencing the different shots much quicker than the conventional coaching sessions if it was a beginner's course. So certainly it's worth looking into for your beginner's courses, to introduce the quick curling into the beginner's course.
That's great to hear that you've already started using it. So thanks for doing that, and it's great to hear that they're learning quicker. So that's really good. If there's no more questions, I can move on to my next slide, please, Maggie. So obviously last season we had our curl up seminars online, but we are excited that we are launching again our workshops for members and clubs, and these will be workshops where we can, at Scottish Curling, can come out, we can get qualified coaches to upskill your members. So obviously the benefit of these workshops is you improve your club members, they get training in specific areas. So I've listed a couple of them there. So strategy and tactics, some mixed doubles, different, keep up to date with the sweeping techniques, slide delivery, or maybe people are transferring or moving from the slide delivery to the stick delivery, and they may be looking for some coaching tips on that. Also the coaching day, we can look at doing multiple of these workshops throughout the course of the day. So that's probably looking at 6 hours. The booking request form has went on the website today. If you go into Scottish Curling, under development, you will then see the link adult curling, and it is in there currently. We'll probably put it on the main page at some point, either tomorrow, but we'll also be looking at reaching out to the ice rinks and making sure that the ice rinks are aware that that form is now there. It is a request form, and we can't guarantee that the dates that you look to book will be able to get coaches, but we'll try our best to accommodate all workshops that members are looking for. So if you want to either tie up with one club or a couple of clubs to try and upskill your current members and improve the members within your club. Another thing you could do with coaching within your club, Kukubri Curling Club have a coaching program, and I think this is a great idea. So they run a weekly session, which is 2 hours, and it is 1 hour coaching and followed by 1 hour training game. So I believe they just book on, and it's a very much a developmental program where you're just learning and getting coached and basically upskilling yourself to become a better player. So they've obviously done that themselves. So if within your own club, if you're looking to do that, if you contact either your Rink or Scottish Curling, we can work out what coaches would be available, or you might have actually coaches in your club who would be willing to attend those sessions with you. On that, that's my bit short and sweet. And when I'm talking about coaching, I will pass you swiftly on to our workforce manager, Fiona.
That was a great link, Scott. I almost thought you'd forgotten my name there, but there we go. So I'm going to talk about opportunities for your club following on from the Winter Olympics and the Winter Paralympics, but I'm also just thinking that with the launch of the Try Curling programme and National Curling Day, I think we need to get a move on and actually find out ways in which we can prepare our clubs and our rinks for this hopeful huge influx of participants that we're going to get. So as I mentioned before, workforce for me are volunteers and coaches and officials. But if you don't want to go straight into coaching, a really great way to help out your coaches and to manage the number of people you've got coming through is to volunteer. And to do this, you can take our introductory course, which is called Ready, Steady, Curl. Now, the Ready, Steady, Curl course, it's not a coaching course. It's an introduction to get you into just helping on ice. So think of it really as a volunteer helper on ice, where you'll be assisting a head coach and looking at different groups. So you might be with a curling school, or you might be helping out at a Try Curling or at a beginners group. And basically, it's a short course. It's only for about an hour and a half. And in that time, you learn about the role of a curler, of a volunteer, and you learn about how you can help that assistant coach. Now, that might be things like warming up and cooling down the group. It might be taking a register. It might be putting equipment out. It might be talking about safety and making sure that the group involved is safe, and also helping to do the cool down and tidy up. So it's a really effective way of getting helpers onto the ice to help with coaches. We've delivered a few sessions already. Bill Creevy, I think it was a couple of years ago now that I went out to your rink, and we had some senior pupils from a local college. It's a very good way of getting people involved as well outside of the rink. So your target group could be yourselves, members. It could be parents that are maybe dropping off their children and are maybe just sitting in the bar having a cup of coffee. Maybe we could try and get them involved. It could be for senior pupils or pupils at higher education, which is what we did in Kirkcaldy. Scott Andrews also delivered quite recently a course in AIR, I believe it was, and as a result of that, AIR now have a regular 10 helpers that come out and help qualified coaches, and it's invaluable to have that help because it just means that coaches can spread themselves a little bit more. You can have more people on the ice, and you've got people that are looking after them. There's no other requirement in terms of any hours that you have to do. Once you've done your hour and a half, which can either be done online, or we can come to the rink and deliver the session there. And then if it's people that are not members and they're not curlers, then we get them onto the ice and we get them used to how the ice feels underfoot, get them delivering and see how they feel about that, and almost give them a little tri-curling session. So they have proved very, very successful, and it's a great way to put something back into the curling community if that's what you'd like to do. If you want to ask for us to run a course at your rink, then just get in touch with me, send me an email, give me a ring, and we can organise a course either online or we can come out to the rink and deliver it. What you can do after that as well, if you get the bug for helping and you want to coach, then I'll come on to coaching in the next slide. Welcoming party and guides. What we want you to try and think about is how else can you volunteer around your rink? I'll give you an example. I've just started sailing, and I use that term loosely, I have to say. But before I actually joined my local sailing club, myself and my partner went along to just see what it was like. And the way the sailing club runs is that every other weekend they have mentors there that hitch up for a couple of hours for anybody that just pops along, and they welcome you in. They took us around the club. They took us up to the bar area. They showed us where all the dinghies were kept. They showed us how to rig a boat. They showed us how to take all the sails down. But what it did for us was it really made us feel welcome. We met new people. They were really encouraging. And as a result, we joined the club. So that's what we need to try and think about, is with all these new programs coming on board, with the curling school, sorry, not the curling school, with the tri-curling and the National Curling Day, are we ready? How can we help people that are coming in feel more welcome? You know, can we be a friendly face at the door? Can we organize social gatherings after a tri-curling session? So that's the question we're asking us. Are we ready to welcome newcomers? Because it really does make a huge impact. Right, Maggie, thank
Fiona,
you.
before you move on, there's a couple of questions about insurance and safeguarding.
Yep. Hey.
With the Ready Steady Curl.
Super, great questions. So in terms of the Ready Steady Curl, you would need to apply for a PVG certificate and also attend a child protection course. If you have got those two certificates, then you are fully insured. As long as you are with a qualified coach, and you would not expect to be on the ice alone. So don't worry about that. You'll be looked after and you'll be managed by a qualified coach. But yes, you would need to get a PVG, which you can get online now, and I can help you with that if you're interested. And also we run regular child protection courses as well that you can attend. Was that it, Scott?
Yes, thank you.
Cool, thanks. Can we have, oh, super, thanks. Right, so if you want to take it a stage further and you would like to take your first level 1 in coaching, we have an online coaching course, level 1, on Sunday, the 7th of November. The course is usually face-to-face and it lasts for a day, but we're just up until the end of this year, all the courses and workshops are going to be online. So this one is on the 7th of November. It's online. It's from about, I think, 10:30 to about 4 o'clock. Myself, I'll be on the course tutoring along with 2 other tutors. So it's already on the website, so you can get yourself signed up for that. What you learn is the role of a coach and the responsibility of a coach. We take you through health and safety a little bit, and we also take you through what and how to coach, so how to coach the delivery, and we break all that down for you. It's a really good introductory course, and that will get you, you could actually be fully qualified as a level 1 coach by the end of the year, and certainly before the Olympics. The next important workshop is the stick delivery, seated and standing. This is going to be really, really beneficial, especially if after the Winter Paralympics you're getting people that come along that are maybe in a wheelchair, or they're maybe not able to slide and need to use a stick. And it's becoming more and more important now, as you know, that we need to be more inclusive. So it's a 2-hour course online, but we hope to run this in January face-to-face, so in which case it'll be a 3-hour course. And that's about an hour and a half in the classroom and then an hour and a half on the ice, getting used to delivering with a stick, and also gives you an opportunity to get in a wheelchair and see how that feels, so that you can put yourselves in their situation. So a really beneficial course, and I think it's something that as coaches and volunteers and members we need to understand and be able to understand how we coach with a stick. So that's coming up in January. And then the last 2 points, then they're not really anything to do with the Winter Olympics per se, but I think it's a really good opportunity for members to become more involved in other aspects of curling, because there's lots of things we can be doing. And I do think that officiating, umpiring, timing, and also being an ice technician is overlooked, and it's so exciting. The umpiring and timing is so rewarding, and you can do it at any level. It doesn't need to be at an elite level. You can take part in any competition as a game umpire or as a timer. What we're doing now at the moment is the WCF, the World Curling Federation, they have online timing and game umpire qualifications. Now, Scottish Curling do run their own, but what we're doing this year is we are piloting the WCF courses, because we've worked quite closely with them in terms of the input to the qualification. I know Alan Stanfield has worked heavily with WCF to put the game umpire qualification together. So we're piloting that right now. I would really suggest that you take part in it. I, even as a non-curler, have done the online game umpire. So if I can do it, then anybody can do it. It does test your knowledge, but it will make you a better curler as well, because you understand the game a bit better. You can go online and have a look. I've added the link there. The WCF game umpire, there are 2 online modules. One is free, and the other one I think is $49. And then there's an on-ice assessment day, which will be in sterling before the end of the year. We've got some funding to run that. So whilst you need to pay the $49 for the game umpire qualification online, the on-ice assessment day will be free for this year only. So if you are interested in it, I would suggest you go and have a little look and see what you think. If you really want to take umpiring a lot further, we have loads of representatives, Scottish representatives this year and next, that are taking part in the up and coming Europeans, also the World Mixed Doubles. And we've also got 2 umpires and timers taking part in the Winter Olympics and the Winter Paralympics. So you really can go quite far if you want to. And lastly, ice technicians. This is something I've been interested in for a while, and nobody's really looked after ice technicians, but they are so important to our game. The WCF have a course which is new, and it's called the Introduction to Maintaining Curling Ice. They also have another qualification after that, but the Maintaining Curling Ice is, again, it's an introduction into how you can get involved. The picture I've got there is Fraser Shaw diligently painting a house in the lines at Murrayfield. Fraser talks quite passionately about making ice, and if you were lucky enough to listen to his Curl Up seminar at the end of the year, I'm sure you would have been really motivated by the work that's involved. And I know I've listened to it and it was incredible. So these are just two other areas I think that get overlooked but that are really important, and you could definitely take part in the future. That's me, Maggie.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fiona, and Scott and Katrina as well. What I'll do is I'll just open the floor if we've got any questions on anything that we've spoken about tonight. Feel free to either raise your virtual hand, pop it in the chat, and we'll read it out and one of us will answer that.
Bill.
Maggie mentioned earlier on about banners and photographs for the National Curling Day. Where do we access them?
So the logo banners, they're attached. There's a link to them in the email you received a few weeks ago called National Curling Day. So it was an email out to all the members, and there's links in there for the logos. Have a look for that. If you can't find it, just drop us an email and we'll send you it on.
Right, could you resend that, because I've never seen it?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So Ian's asking, is there a supply of stock photos, images or posters that we can use for our advertising? I'm not sure if Pam is still with us. I think she had to nip away. Yes, we do have various things like that you can use. We're best to, if you drop an email to marketing@scottishcurling.org with exactly what you're looking for, we should be able to help you out. Any other questions?
Could I ask a question? Margaret Hasty, Inverness.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi, I'm just back from Farfar. Sorry, I was late joining you. I recently had a new curler, first time on the ice, terribly keen, asked if there were any online videos she could watch. And I've spent the weekend searching, and I can only find Canadian ones that refer to rocks, etc. Why don't Scottish curling have YouTube videos that we can advise people to look at if they're interested? If, for example, learning to stick curl, learning to slide. There are loads by the Canadians, but none that seem to be in Scottish.
Yeah, Margaret, it's Fiona here. So I'm working with Sophie Jackson, as you know, the academy manager, and also with British Curling to try and get some videos online. I've been trying for quite a while, but they've been busy with competitions all over the place. But that is definitely something we're looking at, Margaret, is to get some up-to-date videos from British Curling onto the website. So yeah, you make a very good point, and you're absolutely right. And we don't want to see, as good as they are, we don't want to see Canadian videos. So yeah, that is in hand.
They're very good, but they are
very good. But I'd rather hear Scottish voices.
Yes. and
Yeah.
stones rather than rocks.
Yeah. No, thank you, Margaret.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, unless there's any more questions, I think we can probably bring everything to a close. Thank you all so much for coming along, particularly anyone that's, if it's your first time engaging with the Scottish Curling staff. I hope we're not too terrifying, and please feel free to drop any of us an email. All our addresses are on the website, and we'll be sharing the recording of tonight. So if any of your club members feel they've missed out, you can point them in the direction of that, and hopefully you can all get a little bit of benefit from what we've spoken about tonight. And I just wish you all the best for the curling season, and I hope you are able to get lots of new members into your club and have a successful rest of the curling season, and hopefully we'll see you on the ice soon.